Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a concept that literally runs the modern world. We are going to discover exactly how raw data is systematically transformed into actionable intelligence. Whether it's a government protecting its citizens, a corporation expanding into a brand new market, or a cybersecurity team defending against hackers, understanding this process is absolutely essential. So, let's jump right in.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, data, information, and intelligence. Second, the intelligence lifecycle. Third, key intelligence disciplines. Fourth, understanding OSINT. And finally, tools and applications.
Section 1. Data, Information, and Intelligence.
So what exactly is intelligence? We hear this word constantly, right? In the news, in movies, in boardrooms. But before we get bogged down in complex frameworks or advanced tech, we really need to ask ourselves what it actually means in a practical, everyday sense. Here's the crucial thing to understand. Data is just raw material. Think of it like millions of scattered puzzle pieces. That's your data. It's completely unorganized. Now, when we sort and process those pieces into a recognizable picture, it becomes information. But, and this is the key takeaway, it only becomes intelligence after an expert actually analyzes it to answer a specific question or predict the future. Basically, data is just data until somebody analyzes it.
To put this into perspective, let's look at the leap from simple information to true intelligence. Knowing that the price of gold just fell by 5%, well, that's just information. But taking that information, combining it with past experience, and predicting that the price of oil is going to fall too, boom, that is intelligence. You're using past insights to make much smarter decisions about the future.
Section 2, the intelligence lifecycle. Okay, so now that we know what intelligence actually is, let's look at how it's created in the real world. Because trust me, it doesn't happen by accident. It happens through a highly structured process. And what's really fascinating here is that the intelligence lifecycle isn't just a straight line. It's a continuous adaptive loop. The output of one cycle actually refines the requirements for the next, which ensures the whole system is constantly improving. This structured approach is literally the backbone of all professional intelligence work.
Every single piece of actionable intelligence goes through these exact 6 steps. First up, planning and direction. That's where you sit down and ask, what exactly are we trying to find out? Then comes collection, where you gather data from diverse sources. Step 3 is processing and exploitation. This is organizing that raw data, like translating documents or filtering out the noise. Then we hit analysis and production, which transforms the organized data into actual meaning by finding patterns. Step 5 is dissemination, securely handing those insights over to the decision makers. And finally, feedback. Did this intelligence actually help? Based on that answer, the loop starts all over again.
Section 3. Key intelligence disciplines.
With that life cycle established, let's talk about the specialized branches. Professionals usually call these the INTs, used to collect data during that second step of the cycle we just covered. Why do we have so many disciplines? Because no single source ever tells the whole story. For example, we've got open source intelligence, or OSINT, which pulls from the massive ocean of public data. We can contrast that directly against human intelligence, or HUMINT. HUMINT is all about direct face-to-face interaction. Think on-the-ground informants or highly sensitive covert operations. They complement each other beautifully. Next up is geospatial intelligence, or GEOINT. This one builds a visual representation of the world using things like satellite imagery, aerial reconnaissance, and mapping tech. It is incredibly powerful for supporting military efforts, disaster response, and even urban planning, simply because it tracks physical changes in terrain and human activities over time. Then we have measurement and signature intelligence, MASINT for short. This one is highly technical. It uses specialized scientific sensors to pick up on really subtle physical details that other methods totally miss. We're talking chemical signatures, thermal emissions, or even tiny vibrations. It's a massive deal for fields like hidden explosive detection and environmental hazard monitoring. And of course, financial intelligence, or FININT, which focuses on the money. This discipline is absolutely crucial. By tracking massive volumes of financial transactions, governments and law enforcement can understand the activities of complex organizations. It helps them uncover illegal activities like money laundering, fraud, tax evasion, or terrorism funding, usually by spotting suspicious transfers hiding behind shell companies. Section 4. Understanding OSINT. For this section, we are going to zoom in specifically on open source intelligence, or OSINT,
Because the digital age has made publicly available information an incredibly powerful tool. Here is a perfect, simple example: watching a live TV broadcast of a president arriving in another country. That broadcast is completely public information. Literally anyone can watch it. Yet it provides intelligence with a very high degree of certainty about that leader's exact location and timeline. It's a great reminder that intelligence doesn't always have to be a stolen, top-secret document. The scope of OSINT is just incredibly vast. Practitioners can mine really valuable insights from a huge variety of platforms: academic papers, census data, corporate reports, news articles, you name it. The real beauty of OSINT is that professionals can collect all this data without crossing any legal boundaries, simply because it's already out there in the open. You just need the right tools and skills to harvest and analyze it properly.
Within the broader OSINT umbrella, we have some really targeted subdisciplines like social media intelligence or SOCMINT. Just think about the massive amounts of data generated every single second on platforms like Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. Governments, law enforcement, and businesses leverage SOCMINT all the time to assess public opinion, spot emerging market trends, or identify immediate threats and risks. There's also linguistic intelligence, LINGUINT. Now, this is fascinating. LINGUINT analyzes communication patterns to find hidden meanings and purposes. For instance, law enforcement uses this to track criminal networks by zeroing in on specific slang or jargon used in intercepted communications or encrypted chats. It's heavily used in cyber investigations and counterterrorism.
Section 5. Tools and Applications.
To wrap up our foundation today, let's explore how these intelligence gathering methods are practically applied out in the field, both defensively by businesses and offensively by attackers. To see how this works, let's look at the very first stage of a cyber attack: reconnaissance. According to the widely used MITRE ATT&CK cybersecurity framework, adversaries use OSINT to gather intelligence on a target organization long before they ever strike. They collect information about networks and users through active scanning, searching open websites, and gathering data for spear phishing campaigns. It really proves why organizations absolutely must understand what information about them is exposed online so they can proactively defend themselves.
Over on the business side, when researchers use OSINT, they have to translate their raw findings into something called competitive intelligence reports. Because honestly, you can have the best data in the universe, but if the decision maker can't understand it, it's totally useless. A solid report starts with a sharp executive summary, uses clear headings, and relies heavily on visual aids like charts and graphs to serve up actionable strategic guidance for things like market expansion or risk management. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought. We're entering an era where artificial intelligence is going to automate massive amounts of this data collection and analysis. So how will this entirely transform the intelligence landscape? And more importantly, as these tools get better at sweeping up our digital footprints, how do we navigate the new privacy and ethical questions that pop up? Thank you so much for joining me, and keep questioning the data around you.